Nearly 3 years into the war in Ukraine, another one has broken out between Ukraine's president and President Trump.
It began when Mr. Trump accused President Zelensky yesterday of starting the war with Russia, which is not true and would surprise even Vladimir Putin, who ordered his army to invade Ukraine.
President Zelensky responded by accusing Mr. Trump of echoing Russian propaganda.
Unfortunately, President Trump, who we respect a lot as a leader of the nation that we really respect, the American nation, who supported us all the time, unfortunately, he lives in this disinformation space.
That comment set President Trump off again. He called Zelensky a dictator and, adding insult to injury, a modestly successful comedian.
With this rhetoric, it is easy to forget that the United States has been Ukraine's chief ally in the war, which has left 750,000 Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military, dead or wounded.
And that the U.S. has spent more than $100 billion on the war. That, too, rankled President Trump, who accused Zelensky of talking the U.S. into funding a war that could not be won. Margaret Brennan is in Washington. Margaret, what are your sources telling you about this exchange?
Well, John, one senior diplomat told me this amounts to a public decapitation of Zelensky by his single most important military and financial backer. It also means the U.S. is helping to end the isolation of Vladimir Putin. As one former Trump official told me, President Trump has long despised Ukraine and Zelensky. So now that the Ukrainian president has criticized Mr. Trump, he's using the opportunity to remove him from power. He just doesn't care about the global implications of this conflict, according to a former advisor.
Trump's words sound very similar to what Putin would say, Margaret. So what exactly is going on here?
Very similar. In fact, President Trump is echoing Vladimir Putin's rationale for the war, saying Ukraine started it. Today, Vladimir Putin took the unusual opportunity, as you see there, to actually speak to reporters, and he said Trump is simply now receiving objective information. Now, Vladimir Putin is a dictator, but he called Zelensky one, which is what Putin says, and argued that because there weren't elections held, that is why he's a dictator. Now, Zelensky would say he suspended elections because 20% of the territory of his country is under Russian military occupation.
Margaret, so this is what President Trump is saying. He's also got diplomats in the field trying to work out these various deals. Are they saying the same kind of stuff?
No. And, John, it's got to be a pretty awkward day for Keith Kellogg, who is the envoy President Trump sent to Kyiv today. He arrived there to try to broker some kind of diplomatic agreement, and one that he says would end the Russian invasion. But we've heard a lot of conflicting things in recent days from Trump officials that they've walked back. And just a few days ago, you saw President Trump send top national security advisors to Saudi Arabia to meet with Russian officials. The one thing that does seem to be progressing at this point is reopening U.S.-Russia relations.